Nigerians remain our brothers and sisters, and whatever is being done, it is being done in their interest. So nobody should make any mistake about that. Nothing is being done against the interests of the people of Niger. The AFP are 3-year not acceptable. What will be acceptable? The heads of state have decided and have demanded the restoration of constitutional order immediately. That is the decision of heads of state. Regarding resistance to some of the actions, well, we take note. As for the troop contributing countries, that information will be made available in due course when the need for it arises. The VOA House of Service, people seem to support the military takeover. I don't know what measure one can use to determine the support for a course of action. I think we need to have a level playing field first to determine the true support that a particular course of action enjoys.
So I want us to watch this video together and then discuss about it. This video was made by the president of the Commission of ECOWAS. He was trying to do a damage control after the mess they made on the Niger issue. So let's hear what he is going to say, and then we can all share our thoughts and opinions about what he said. Let's get to it.
Let me acknowledge from the onset that the media has been substantially factual and careful in their reports. But we are worried by the creeping hysteria that seems to have overtaken some of the stories, which tend to suggest that ECOWAS is beating the drums of war. I will urge you to continue to exercise restraint in your reporting as we continue our engagement with the military administration in Niger towards the amicable resolution of this unfortunate situation. This press conference has been convened as part of our efforts to engage with members of the Fourth Estate, to set the record straight, and hopefully provide the foundation for future engagement with the media. We would like to use this opportunity to reassure the good people of Niger that our major concern is for their welfare as we work assiduously to restore civilian rule and political stability in the country, and indeed in other ECOWAS member countries currently under transition. This we hope to do in the spirit of solidarity and collective security, which is at the heart of our regional agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, the facts of the matter are straightforward enough. On July 26th, 2023.
So I just want to point out something he said, right? He said that whatever ECOWAS is doing or whatever ECOWAS has done has been for the benefit of the people of Niger, which prompted me to ask this question, and I'm very serious about it. all the sanctions put in place by ECOWAS on Niger, how does that benefit the common person? When Nigeria cut off power supply to Niger, how does that benefit the common people? How was that to the benefit of ordinary Nigerians? It's like you do something that affects people seriously, and then you turn around and said that what you did was to the benefit of those people, even though the actions you've taken have negatively impacted their lives. How can that be for their benefit, whereby the things you are doing doesn't really help them, but instead destroys them or make them suffer? Isn't this a kind of like an irony that what you say and what you do are two different things or have two different impact? All these career politicians, all what they care about is themselves. That is just all what they care about. If they can stay in their position, if they can exert power, if they can wield power, if they can eat well, if they can have the opportunity to embezzle, that's all they care about. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, they are trying to be body with the press because from their actions and what they did, the actions they took came under a lot of scrutiny from the press and the African people. And now they are doing damage control. Let's continue.
A group of soldiers in the Republic of Niger decided to hold the democratically elected president of Niger, His Excellency Mohamed Bazoum, hostage. While the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government was in the process of finding a peaceful resolution to the impasse, the situation degenerated into an attempted coup, and matters escalated from there. The first mission sent by the chair of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State on the 26th of July did not receive much response. The second mission, led by His Excellency General Abdusalam Abubakar and His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, had its meetings at the airport in Niger. A joint mission involving the African Union, the United Nations, and ECOWAS was aborted. I am glad to report that the most recent mission was received by the President of the CNSP, the Prime Minister, and members of the CNSP. The mission also saw President Bazoum. Ladies and gentlemen, coup d'etat is a tragedy for our region, especially our regional efforts at consolidating democracy after the political crisis of the 1990s, exemplified by the civil war in Liberia and Sierra Leone. Through collective efforts of our community, the region was stabilized and the foundation for democracy and the rule of law restored. Indeed, until about 3 years ago, all leaders in the ECOWAS region were democratically elected. Unfortunately, the ill winds of coups started blowing again recently, and the region has experienced 3 successful coups and several failed coup d'etats. The current development in the Republic of Niger adds to the list of attempted coup d'etats in the region. So you can understand why the heads of state and government have decided that this is one coup too many, and resolved that it was time to end the contagion. The situation in the Republic of Niger is particularly unfortunate, as it comes at a time the country is doing comparatively well in terms of security and economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, the ECOWAS security architecture, which has informed other security arrangements within and outside the region, is anchored on a number of instruments. These include the 1991 ECOWAS Declaration of Political Principles, the revised ECOWAS Treaty of 1993, the 1999 ECOWAS Protocol relating to the mechanism for conflict prevention, management, resolution, peacekeeping, and security, as well as the 2001 Supplementary Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. The deployment of the ECOWAS standby force is provided for in the 1999 mechanism. Specifically, Article 25 expressively stipulates the conditions for the deployment of such a force. Among other conditions, the article provides that the force can be deployed in the event of an overthrow or an attempted overthrow of a democratically elected government. Furthermore, the Supplementary Act of 2012 also provides for sanctions to be invoked against members that fail to honor their obligations within the community. It also provides for the use of legitimate force in the restoration of constitutional order. The Republic of Niger is a signatory to all these regional instruments. Therefore, those who challenge the legality of the decision of ECOWAS heads of state and government need to do more research. In taking its decision of 30th July and 10th August, the authority of ECOWAS heads of state and government was only activating these provisions. Unfortunately, this decision has been taken out of context and repeatedly misrepresented in the media as a declaration of war against the Republic of Niger or a planned invasion of the country. It is even tragic that some influential persons in the community have promoted this narrative, which has been hyped in the social media as the gospel truth. These persons have conveniently ignored the strenuous efforts of the community to engage with the military authority in Niger to reverse the attempted coup. For the avoidance of doubt, let me state unequivocally that ECOWAS has neither declared war on the people of Niger. May I repeat this? ECOWAS has neither declared war on the people of Niger, nor is there a plan, as it is being purported, to invade the country. The ECOWAS authority of heads of state and government has only activated a full-scale application of sanctions, which include the use of legitimate force to restore constitutional order. In the interim, the region is employing other elements of its instruments and engaging with the military authorities, as can be attested to by the several missions that have been fielded to the country and our joint efforts with our partners, including the African Union and the United Nations. We are hopeful that these diplomatic efforts will yield the desired outcome and make it unnecessary for the deployment of the force. Nonetheless, preparations continue towards making the force ready for deployment. Consequently, the technical arms of the decision-making organs, which include the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff, have also been directed to prepare the community enforcement mechanism in case it becomes compelling to deploy the force. Friends of the press, we believe that even now it is not too late for the military authorities in Niger to reconsider their action and listen to the voice of reason.
If you are holding a candy in the right hand and telling the child to come and get the candy, while holding a stick in the left hand, that child won't come. That child will run away. And can you blame the child? It's the same thing ECOWAS is doing. They are saying that they are negotiating with the junta in Niger and that they have put forth the delegations to go in and negotiate with the junta. But on the other hand, they are mobilizing troops to invade Niger. And they are saying that they are working with their partners, the AU and the UN. But they forget to mention the European Union. They are also working with them. And if there's one set of people who have been at the forefront of inciting ECOWAS to intervene militarily in Niger, that is the European Union, because they have a lot of vested interest in Niger. I have always said this on this platform, that sometimes I personally believe that we are our own problems, because we see something going on and we do not call it out. We see people suffering and we just neglect it. We don't say anything. We see a lot of corruption and bribery and injustice being done. And we are like, never mind. We just carry on with our lives. How can ECOWAS be threatening Niger after knowing fully well what Niger has been going through in the hands of France? Couldn't ECOWAS be happy that Niger is actually broken free from the French shackles? Couldn't ECOWAS be happy for them? But no, all they care about is geopolitics. All they care about is making sure that Niger understands who is in control. All they care about is Tinubu making sure that everyone understands that he is the president of ECOWAS. And so, he will not tolerate anything. So, let's continue.
As the regional leaders will not condone coup d'etat. ECOWAS also wishes to remind them of their responsibility for the security and safety of President Bazoum, members of his family, and government. At this juncture, let me reiterate that the real issue is the determination of the community to halt the spiral of coup d'etats in the region. We are all brothers, irrespective of the artificial borders, but the rule of law has to be upheld. The unconstitutional action of the military in Niger has plunged the people of Niger into serious socio-economic crisis. In other words, Nigerians are suffering today because a section of the military, which should be focused on its constitutional role, decided to hijack the political institution and subvert democracy. The truth is, neither Niger nor the West African sub-region needs such a major distraction at this time, and we all like to see the defense and security forces of Niger Republic to return immediately to their constitutional role and restore constitutional order. We all will recall that the Niger military have performed credibly as exemplified in their fight against terrorism and their sterling performance in the multinational joint task force in the Lake Chad Basin area and in the areas within the Liptako-Gourma region. The decision of the heads of state and government to activate the clause providing for the application of legitimate force in Niger was reached only after due consideration of how political dialogue alone has, unfortunately, failed to deter coup plotters in the region. The precedents in Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso are unsettling and underline the reason why the community was obliged to take such a hard but legitimate stance, backed by ECOWAS community law, which I must stress again was subscribed to by all the member states, including the Republic of Niger. The actions of the community have been guided by a recognition of the community's obligation within the context of the spirit of solidarity and collective responsibility that underlines the ECOWAS integration arrangements. We recognize the Republic of Niger as an important member of the ECOWAS family, and it remains so to date. The Republic of Niger is not a target for destruction by ECOWAS, and ECOWAS will never allow the people of Niger to suffer in the hands of enemies within or without. ECOWAS is deeply concerned about the well-being of the people and the country. Historically, military administrations have not demonstrated any capacity to better deal with complex political, social, and security challenges. The security situation in the countries under military government have rather deteriorated, as national territories are being lost to terrorists under their administration, even though this has become the main justification for their intervention. In most cases, the rights and freedoms of the citizens are also inevitably curtailed, with arbitrary arrests, detentions, and use of excessive force becoming the order of the day. The social cohesion in these countries is weakening by the day, and it will take years to restore. We do not want this to happen in the Republic of Niger. In conclusion, let me reiterate that fifth columnists have unfortunately been misrepresenting our decisions and actions, deriding regional authorities as being teleguided by foreign powers with nefarious intentions. Let me remind everyone that ECOWAS is a community of rules and regulations, norms and values. These principles, which have been accumulated over the 48 years of its existence, and they underpin its actions. These principles have been accumulated over 48 years of ECOWAS's existence, and they underpin the community's actions. It is undeniable that these admirable principles have made the region an exemplar among regional economic communities within and outside Africa, and many look up to it for inspiration. We are therefore not under the dictate of any extra-regional power or interests. Our interest is rather the protection of the rights of our people, with the objective of building a rule-based community and fostering peace and prosperity for all in our region. So while we are determined to bend over backwards to accommodate diplomatic efforts, We are not unaware of the true intention of some of the members of the military leadership. At first, they snubbed our diplomatic efforts, but recently began to show signs of being amenable, only for them to take a path which we consider to be dangerous by putting in place a government and declaring a transition timetable which is unacceptable to ECOWAS. Distinguished members of the press, let me reiterate that the decision of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, which is currently chaired by His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Republic of Nigeria, is to work for the peaceful restoration of civilian rule in the Republic of Niger without any delay, and to use all the instruments at the disposal of ECOWAS towards the attainment of this goal. As for the other countries in transition, namely Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea, ECOWAS will continue to support their transition process as directed by the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. We will continue to support their fight against terrorism to ensure the restoration of democracy, peace, and security in our community.
Well, talking about the transitional period that the junta in Niger have proposed, I think they have a reason to do that. And I think they want to stabilize their country. And if they can do a good job for Niger, then I find nothing wrong with that. Because too often, we just cry about democracy, democracy, democracy. But let me ask you this question, my fellow viewers. Which country in Africa is practicing real democracy? Not just in Africa, the whole world as a whole. Which country in the whole world is practicing the real democracy? Please, educate me on this. Which country in the whole world is practicing real democracy? I don't know of any. And coming back to the situation in Africa, democracy has never worked in Africa. Never, ever. And this whole idea of democracy that was being forced down on Africa has never worked out so far. If only the so much effort being put on having democracy in Africa was diverted into fighting poverty, into fighting embezzlement, into fighting bribery and corruption, wouldn't that be much more better? Because I believe that these are the things that are heavily impacting the lives of the people in Africa. Because I have never heard a father in the grassroots in my own village crying that there's no democracy in Africa. I have never seen that poor mama who sells fruit at the village market talking about democracy or talking about how she would have loved if her country had democracy. People don't care about those things. People don't wake up from their bed and thinking about democracy. That's not what people think about. People think about what they are going to eat, where they are going to sleep, what they are going to feed their children with, and how great they want their lives to be. That is what people think of. People don't wake up in the morning and start thinking like, oh, how I wish my country had democracy. Because many of the people in Africa do not even understand what democracy is all about. But they understand that they need to eat. They understand that they need to sleep. They understand that they need to send their children to school. I think it was Paul Kagame that put it clearly that people in Rwanda do not worry about democracy or no democracy. They worry about being able to find high-paying jobs. They worry about being able to send their kids to good schools. They worry about having good quality lives for themselves and for their loved ones. That is what people worry about, not democracy. So ECOWAS trying to force democracy on other African countries, like if it is an award or a reward, that really shouldn't be ECOWAS' #1 priority. In my own opinion, that shouldn't be. Because before these countries descended into junta government or into military government, they had elected representatives. They had. Niger had an elected government. Burkina Faso had the same thing. Mali did. Guinea did. But why are they all now having these military regimes? Because the elected representative did not do what was required from them. They did not do what was expected from them by their people. And that was why when the military regime came into being, people celebrated them. People cheered them. People glorified them. Because at a certain point in time, people just want change. It doesn't matter what change, they just want change. Any change than no change. Now, it might be for the best or for the worst, but we just want to have change. Let's continue.
We will also continue to work with them on the agreed transition timetables. Ladies and gentlemen, may I once again thank you all for honoring our invitation, and I hope that you will continue to remain our partners in progress as we navigate these difficult times in our region. I'll be most honored to entertain some questions from you. I thank you for your attention. Nowhere has ECOWAS indicated that at the end of the 7-day deadline, military force will be the only option. Nowhere. If you look at the decision says the authority of heads of state and government will employ all measures to restore constitutional order in the Republic of Niger. And these measures may include the use of force. I invite all colleagues to have a re-look at the decision as well as the communique. So when we say the decision of heads of state and government has been taken out of context, this is what we refer to. We say all measures which may include the use of force, and now only the use of force was extracted and then blown out. So this is why we are saying it is taken out of proportion. The use of force is still on the table as provided for by ECOWAS instruments. These instruments are old instruments, as you will see, as you have heard me say. They date as far back as the 2000s, the 1990s, and these instruments have been subscribed to by all ECOWAS member states, including the Republic of Niger. So if we have no problem with the instruments, we should not have any problem with the implementation of the instruments. The fact that all of us can travel around in West Africa without visas, we can trade without tariffs, are part of our instruments that our community has taken, just like they have taken this particular instrument. And I think I have listed about 5 or 4 of them. And they don't date today. They date as far back as 12 years ago or even older. So their implementation is what the heads of state have decided on now. And the measures provided for in those instruments include the use of force. So it is very much on the table, as are other measures that we are working on. Refugees and displaced persons, these are really the victims of the unconstitutional action that some members of the military have decided to take in Niger. So we should all work to ensure that the actions that they have taken do not impact on the ordinary people, let alone on the refugees and displaced persons. Why is ECOWAS more stringent against Niger? No, ECOWAS is not more stringent against Niger. ECOWAS has decided to put a stop to the spate of coup d'etats that we have been witnessing in the sub-region. And they have therefore decided to implement the instruments that are already in existence and to which all member states have subscribed. I think I've answered the TVC's second question regarding the use of force. The use of force, again, I repeat, is a measure, one of the measures provided for by the community instruments. And the heads of state have indicated that they will use all measures. All measures. And regarding the refugees and displaced persons and vulnerable groups in general, including ordinary brothers and sisters of Niger, whatever the community is doing, we are doing it for the ordinary brothers and sisters in Niger who have no contribution whatsoever to this. It is ECOWAS's role to serve and work for the ordinary members of the community.
I like to see when politicians talk like this, It's so strange in a funny way to see politicians talk like this, really pouring their heart into what they are saying, even though no one really believes what they are saying, right? No one believes that everything you guys are doing, you are doing for the common people of Niger. Those people who have been impacted by the fighting of insurgency group in the country. ECOWAS have been seeing this going on in the Sahel. All these rivalry fighting groups destabilizing these countries in the Sahel. What has ECOWAS done so far? Because to the best of my knowledge, I don't know what they've done. Because I think if they did something great, I will hear of it. The media is going to sing it, and then we will hear it. Just the fact that there are still major insurgency groups in the Sahel taking lands and cities for themselves only made you understand that ECOWAS hasn't been really successful in what they set out to do. That ECOWAS has failed in every single step of the way. that ECOWAS hasn't really been an entity that people can trust. That's just my own opinion. That's what I think. Because if ECOWAS was that entity that really did what they set out to do, wouldn't they have targeted Boko Haram and put the issue to bed by now? Wouldn't they have brought peace to Mali before the coup? Wouldn't they have brought peace to Burkina Faso before Ibrahim Traoré took over? Wouldn't they have brought peace in Niger before this coup? Wouldn't they have stopped Senegal from changing their constitution to allow the man run for a third term? Wouldn't they have told this guy from Cote d'Ivoire, is it Alexander Ouattara, that what you are doing is unconstitutional? What you are doing is against the principle of ECOWAS. So we would politely but strongly suggest that you do not do what you are planning to do. If what they were doing was to protect the people of Niger as they claim to be, wouldn't they have gotten into negotiation without any preconditions just so they can get the junta to reason with them? Because believe me, my brothers and sisters, right? Whenever you corner somebody, whenever you push someone to the wall, that the person realize that their only option out is to fight back, they will fight back. Avoid pushing people to the extent that they feel like the only option you've left them with is to fight back. Avoid it. That is exactly what ECOWAS is doing to Niger. They are pushing Niger to the wall. They are cornering Niger. And what can Niger do? What can they do if not fight back? They have to fight back. So, let's continue.
Nigerians remain our brothers and sisters, and whatever is being done, it is being done in their interest. So nobody should make any mistake about that. Nothing is being done against the interest of the people of Niger. The AFP 3-year not acceptable, what will be acceptable? The heads of state have decided and have demanded the restoration of constitutional order immediately. That is the decision of heads of state. Regarding resistance to some of the actions, well, we take note. As for the troop contributing countries, that information will be made available in due course when the need for it arises. The VOA House of Service, people seem to support the military takeover. I don't know what measure one can use to determine the support for a course of action. I think we need to have a level playing field first to determine the true support that a particular course of action enjoys. And the second question, what is ECOWAS' stance? ECOWAS' stance remains the immediate restoration of constitutional order in the Republic of Niger. And whatever we are doing, we want to serve the people of Niger. The people of Niger remain part and parcel of the ECOWAS space and the ECOWAS community. And we hope we can continue to serve them through the integration efforts that ECOWAS is promoting. ECOWAS stands for the restoration of constitutional order in all member countries, especially in the Republic of Niger, and through peaceful means. But if peaceful means fail, ECOWAS cannot just fold its hands. All measures will be taken as the heads of state, as the authority of heads of state have decided. Again, this is about ECOWAS implementing the community's instruments. It is not about ECOWAS being against the people of Niger. We are in full support of the people of Niger. We remain on the side of the people of Niger. We just think it is fair for them to enjoy democracy, freedom that we are all enjoying elsewhere. The people of Niger deserve to be able to express themselves freely. The people of Niger deserve to move freely within the continent, within the country, within the region. So whatever ECOWAS is doing, it is being done in the interest of the people of Niger and the people of the ECOWAS region.
Well, I don't think anyone in the ECOWAS region or in the whole of Africa or the Black community as a whole all over the world share your opinion, mister. I think whatever you say here, everyone can see how desperate you guys have become. You guys have made a terrible, terrible mess situation in Niger, and you guys are trying to walk it back. It would have been much more better if you guys just accept your errors and then address it. For example, like the sanctions, remove it. The blockade, remove it. And say to the military junta, okay, now we will give something and you give something. Let's move one step closer to each other. So first, we are going to remove the sanctions and you are going to do this, Secondly, we are going to remove all the blockade and you are going to do this. Thirdly, we are going to stop the process of activating the ECOWAS intervention force. And in return, you are going to do this. That is how you negotiate with people. You don't come and strong arm them, because by the time you start strong arming them, they feel the need to defend themselves. Before I go, I want to leave you with one point. If ECOWAS was seriously considering the people in Niger, if ECOWAS really was doing something that was to the benefit of the people in Niger, they will not sanction the country. They will not cut off the country from the ECOWAS bloc. Because what they've done hasn't really helped the people. It has instead negatively impacted the people. We can sit here and argue about it. We can sit here and debate about it. But that is the fact on the ground. If you really care about the people of Niger, stop the sanction. Take out the blockade. And then negotiate. But you guys out there, what is your take on these remarks made by the president of the Commission of ECOWAS? Is he right to say that whatever ECOWAS have done or is doing is for the benefit of the local Nigerians, or this is all just BS? Let us know in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, do not forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel, because little bit of good we, like the one you've just done, help us a lot, and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.